You could be one of the best chefs on the planet and still accidentally mistake salt for sugar. Unless you're Scott Conant, that is. The Chopped Kitchen isn't for the faint of heart, but these awkward moments have made for some great entertainment. We've all had those moments when we've done something without thinking, and then wondered what the heck possessed us to do it in the first place. Fortunately for most of us, we're not on TV when it happens. Unfortunately for Chef Serena Johnson, she was. In the middle of a challenge, the butter in her pan was set ablaze, which isn't unheard of in the Chopped Kitchen. But Johnson had a unique way of dealing with it. She threw the fire in the garbage.
Ooh, I started a fire in a trash can.
In the background, the judges were, well, understandably concerned. Ted Allen confirmed that it was the very first garbage fire on set, and that's one way to go down in TV history.
Do you guys smell the aroma ode to garbage bag?
Things worked out in the end. Fire extinguishers were dispatched, and it turned into a very important lesson on fire safety for viewers. As for Johnson, she seemed to take the whole thing in stride, an important lesson in how to laugh at your mistakes. There are a lot of unspoken rules in a kitchen, probably because they don't actually need to be said out loud. Like, try not to break any of the very expensive commercial equipment. But one Chopped contestant did exactly that, and then made things weird. When Chef Virginia Willis used a spoon to help speed up the process of getting her sorbet out, said spoon was sucked into the machine with a loud rattle.
That's a $7,000 machine.
The judges were all pretty horrified, which made Willis's response that much stranger.
If I were in a restaurant kitchen, I can pretty much guarantee I'd be fired.
It's unclear just how much damage it caused, but it undoubtedly made some crew members' jobs much harder that day. Few ingredients are as irresistible as a truffle, but they're not exactly cheap. A single 100-gram truffle goes for around $250, so when Chopped contestants were given truffles to work with, it should have made for a great round, but it turned into an awkwardly hilarious one when Chef Jonathan Kavarakis dropped his truffle, sending it skittering across the floor, past the judges, and into a corner. Aaron Sanchez was the one to point it out, but who didn't notice? The chef.
I can't believe they gave us a freaking truffle.
Even the best laid plans can go awry, and what follows is a lot of cursing, a lot of crawling around on the ground, and another chef weighing whether or not she should share her own truffle.
All is fair in love and Chopped.
Kavarakis did eventually find his truffle, which impressed the judges enough for him to take home the win. It was one of those moments where, clearly, none of the judges wanted to deliver the bad news, but they all knew that someone was going to have to do it. The weight on Chef Luis Gonzalez's shoulders as moments dragged out had to be immense, and it was ultimately Scott Conant's job to ask,
Did you taste your batter at all when you were making this?
It was very clear that he and the other judges already knew the answer. And when Gonzalez admitted that no, he hadn't tried it, Conant revealed that yes, that was obvious. He'd used salt instead of sugar in his cake batter. To Jeffrey Zakarian's credit, he did compliment the plating and look of the dish, even if he believed there might be a problem with some of the ingredients. A brief moment of panic turned into profuse apologies and a nervous laugh. But when Ted Allen made an attempt to suggest that it's something everyone has had happen to them at least once, Conant disagreed.
I actually never done it as a professional.
Halloween on Chopped is a time for weird ingredients, like gummy teeth candy, flour tortillas, huitlacoche, and black chicken. And one year, things got weird for sure, just not in the way anyone had hoped. Chef Maria Samsam decided to make wraps for the round. So far, so good. But after she broke down her chicken on her cutting board, she decided to then assemble her dish on the same surface without flipping or cleaning the board. Salmonella was, unfortunately for her, not one of the basket ingredients. The icing on the Halloween-inspired cake was her use of the gummy teeth, which she just set on top of the wrap.
Were you concerned at all that this sort of looks like the chef's dentures fell out?
While the judges danced around the matter of the potential danger of the dish by giving a few compliments, it ultimately fell to Amanda Freitag to break the news. That's the moment that both realization and embarrassment set in, and it's safe to say we all felt that one. Mistakes in the Chopped kitchen are bound to happen, and when Chef Chris Sell accidentally dropped his pork belly on the floor, it was a heartbreaking moment for viewers. It's safe to say, though, that we all felt something entirely different when he picked the pieces up off the floor, put them back in the pan, put the pan on the stove, and just kept right on cooking. It was a stomach-turning look into what we hope never goes on behind the scenes at any restaurant. While Sell's never-say-die attitude was commendable, the judges were watching with absolute horror as he continued to cook the pork, now seasoned with floor spice. That horror only grew as it slowly became clear that yes, he was going to serve it.
Chris plated the pork belly that fell on the floor. It's on the plate.
Both Scott Conant and Amanda Freitag called Sell out on the contaminated dish. They did eat the clams though, so that was something. And yes, of course he got chopped.
Watch enough episodes of Chopped and you can begin to pick up on the likes and dislikes of the judges. Heck, Food Network even has a cheat sheet contestants could use naming certain foods the Chopped judges despise. Still, some chefs just have to learn the hard way and get under the skin of the judges by repeatedly giving them food they don't like. Such was the case when one competitor served Scott Conant raw red onions in the first round, only to find out that Conant hates raw onions. It was an honest mistake, but then he decided to serve raw onions again in the entree round. All Conant could do was watch with concern as the chef prepared the dish, foolishly ignoring the critique he'd just been given.
I don't understand why the onions are there after we told you, especially myself, I didn't like raw onions, and you used them in the first course already, yet they're here.
The chef explained that he felt the onion in the dishes make sense before Conant cautioned him about onion in the dessert round.
I was thinking an onion jam.
It's almost like the guy was actively trying not to win $10,000. Who wants a big old plate of practically raw eel that just may kill you? No takers? Well, surprisingly, neither did the Chopped judges when one contestant served them up a meal that wasn't just unappetizing, but potentially lethal, too. The chefs had to work with eel, and it's apparent that things are about to go badly for one contestant when Alex Guarnaschelli asked a pretty important question.
How did you cook the eel?
You didn't?
Not at all, just the torching.
The torching.
The contestant had simply hit the eel with a blowtorch for a few seconds and called it a day. Nope, that simply won't cut it when it comes to eel. The other judges point out that the eel is not just raw, but bloody and full of potentially deadly toxins. This is because eel blood is poisonous, and even eating a little bit could kill someone, according to Boston.com. Uh-oh.
It's harmful as is, so I don't think we can eat this.
Having your food critiqued on national television by celebrity judges has to be nerve-wracking enough, without them jumping on you for almost killing them. Cringeworthy indeed. Chef creativity comes into play on Chopped perhaps more than any other competitive cooking show. There's no way a chef can create an appetizing entree with gummy worms, skirt steak, and oyster crackers unless they get really creative. The ultimate goal is to create a dish that tastes good, of course, so when that dish tastes like, well, nothing, it's a bit awkward. One chef used phyllo dough to construct a cup for what appeared to be some sort of pudding-like dessert. Watch any cooking show and you'll learn that it's always a bad idea when a chef puts something on the plate that they maybe didn't intend for the judge to eat. Phyllo sheets really don't have much taste to them, and when Scott Conant informed the chef of this, she made it obvious she disagreed and snapped back.
But it tastes like nothing.
I think it's a matter of taste on that one.
It's not necessarily a matter of taste.
This is precisely when things got awkward, as the camera panned to Ted Allen and the other contestant, who have that "oh no she didn't" look on their faces. Conant informed her she couldn't talk her way around it. It seemed like a miracle when at the end of every round on Chopped, the chefs managed to construct a gourmet dish in the course of 30 minutes. Using a basket of mystery ingredients makes the feat even more impressive. Most chefs pull it off and at least get something on the plate, even if that something isn't always a dish the judges seem excited about eating. Then there's poor chef Mauro Macchioni. The son of iconic New York City restaurateur Sirio Macchioni, Mauro failed to get any of his food on the plate. That's right, he had to serve empty plates to the Chopped judges in the first round. As Ted Allen warned the chefs that they had mere seconds left, Macchioni was seen still trying to prepare his pasta before asking another chef where the plates are. He then casually walked over to get the plates, perhaps aware that he's essentially dead in the water at that point. Nevertheless, the judges were horrified. Judge Aaron Sanchez covered his eyes in disappointment, and Jeffrey Zakarian shook his head on the table like a 4-year-old who just found out there's no kids menu. The judges threw Macchioni a bone and complimented him on the flavor of his sauce after Allen requested he bring over his unfinished product, but it's pretty apparent it's all too little too late. Nobody gets out of the Chopped kitchen without having their cooking techniques nitpicked and critiqued by the judges. That's just part of the deal that goes along with potentially walking away $10,000 richer. Most of the contestants welcome this criticism and take it in stride, the key word being most. Some chefs just seem to interpret constructive criticism as a personal attack, and that makes things especially uncomfortable for everyone in the room. Judge Jeffrey Zakarian called out one especially defensive chef.
We here welcome criticism because we know we get better and we learn. And it's the one ingredient you're going to need for the rest of your life.
The sage advice fell on deaf ears, though, and the hard-headed chef immediately went on the defense, calling himself a damn good cook. Ted Allen tried to deflate the situation, but it didn't do much good, and it's obvious that neither the other judges nor competitors were thrilled to be in the same kitchen with this particular chef. A quick look at Chopped judge Jeffrey Zakarian's website, and it's apparent the guy has some clout in the culinary world. Multiple executive chef positions, restaurant openings, awards, cookbooks, even projects with cruise lines and luxury hotels. Obviously, Zakarian has quite the background to draw upon when it comes to critiquing a plate of food. Which is why when one chef put a hot pepper on Zakarian's plate that he didn't approve of, things quickly went south. Zakarian held up the pepper and asked the question no Chopped contestant wants to hear.
What are we supposed to do with these?
Nibble.
Basically, it's the Chopped equivalent of the viral "what are those" meme. The chef's answer of nibble didn't sit well with Zakarian, who proceeded to inform her how a hot pepper would prevent him and the other judges from even tasting the food. Rather than simply nod "yes, chef" and letting it go, the contestant decided to reply.
But you know you're alive.
Then she shot the still not convinced Zakarian a look that said, "Your move, pal." It's exactly this sort of uncomfortable moment between judge and contestant that makes the judging portion of Chopped such a highly entertaining part of the show. There are a lot of things that could be said about Chef Rory Phillipson's appearance on Chopped. However, one YouTube comment perhaps sums it up best. She is like a red onion in human form. Yes, the bitterness and overall lack of popularity perfectly captures the chef's time on Chopped. Phillipson appeared on the incredibly entertaining Viewer's Choice Baskets episode, in which the contestants were delivered baskets with items like durian, chicken in a can, and lime gelatin. As terrible as the basket ingredients may have been, the other contestants were good sports and took it in stride, but not Chef Rory. After having her food called dull by Jeffrey Zakarian and too rare by Amanda Freitag, the chef tried to pull the other contestants, who clearly wanted no part of her defense, into her excuse. The cherry on top of the whole exchange was courtesy of Scott Conant, who decided to respond to Phillipson's complaint that the baskets were too hard.
But I feel like this was much better than the first round.
Thank you.
I'm saying the basket.
If you thought Rory Phillipson was less than a delightful ray of sunshine, allow us to introduce you to Chef Lauren Vanderpool. Generally, Chopped chefs seem to focus 100% of their attention on, cooking an incredible dish in under half an hour with a bunch of mystery ingredients. Vanderpool, however, devoted a significant amount of her energy to being annoyed by Chef Sarah Puzar. Apparently, asking to use the sriracha was just too much. It's the sort of uncomfortable tension that makes you root for anyone else, simply out of sympathy for their misfortune of having to share a kitchen with Vanderpool. Whatever bad blood there was between Chef Puzar and Vanderpool, it spilled over into the latter's cooking and spoiled the entire dish. Overly sweet, heavy, and aggressive were just a few of the negative adjectives Judge Amanda Freitag used to describe Vanderpool's dish, and the chef threw back a steely death stare the entire time. After learning she had been chopped, Vanderpool responded with, "Seriously, guys?" before walking off in a huff. You get the feeling that both the judges and the contestants were relieved when the whole Vanderpool experience was over. Chopped is full of high-stakes moments, but moments that are also sort of hilarious? Those are a bit more difficult to come by, which is what makes the battle over a grill pan between two chefs such a gem in the show's history of awkward moments. Chef Elda Bilansky went toe-to-toe over a grill pan with competitor Keith Young, a man who easily has 18 inches and probably 75 pounds on Bilansky. When the two chefs literally got into a tug-of-war over the grill pan, the judges looked on in amusement at the kitchen battle unfolding before them.
I got my money on Elda.
A true battle for the ages if there ever was one. The two competitors tangled for the kitchen tool for several seconds.
Come on, let it go.
You see?
Let it go.
See those? I am not going to look good fighting with a grandma, for God's sakes.
Let it go.
God, do your thing.
For the most part, the chefs on Chopped treat each other cordially. Sure, they're competitive, but they don't typically shoot each other down. That sort of trash talking is generally a lot more prevalent on shows like Cutthroat Kitchen. Chef Chris Burke didn't get the memo, though, and fully went after Chef Amy Roth with condescending vengeance, taking direct aim at his competitor's Okra. In the final judging round, Chef Burke stated his case for why he should win.
I was able to outperform my competitor, and it's just been obvious. From her soggy okra to my crispy okra.
Chef Roth retaliated and said she watched the judges' reaction while eating Burke's food, and Burke quipped right back that they were probably drooling. It's easy to see why Roth felt comfortable sharing her truth during one of the interview segments.
I can't stand him.
People on a Serious Eats thread chatting about the episode seem to have similar views on Roth. One commenter wrote, "Chris seems to be the biggest jerk I've ever seen on reality TV or in real life." There are certainly safety guidelines that one should know in the kitchen if they're a professional chef. We're not talking about obscure safety guidelines like how to properly cook a puffer fish, but basic stuff like don't run with a knife and don't put cooked food on a cutting board that just had raw meat on it. These are basic elementary safety tips. Chef Hannah seemed to have skipped safety day in culinary school because she nearly burned down the Chopped kitchen with a grease fire. The chef doused her grill with oil, which eventually caught fire and had all the Chopped judges looking with worrisome faces that read, "I don't don't want to die on the Food Network. Rather than extinguishing the fire with salt or baking soda, Chef Hannah did the absolute worst thing. She went for the water. The chef carried the grill to the sink, turned on the water, and then started to go back to her station as the flames grew larger. Thankfully, disaster was averted. But for a few brief moments, this awkward moment was heading in a seriously scary direction. Contestants on Chopped are certainly expected to adopt a whatever-it-takes mindset to emerge victorious. The exception, though, is treating the kitchen like a total slob. A sloppy chef does not impress. Things got a bit unpleasant for Chef Lola Garand when she was called out by Judge Jeffrey Zakarian over her messy cooking habits. Zakarian chastised the chef during the entree round for throwing her food scraps on the floor.
I don't really appreciate that. It's really disrespectful to us and to the competitors.
The chef attempted to explain herself, but he was not having it.
I was trying to play the game and do what was asked of me.
This is not a game.
Welp, that was all it took.
I don't want to continue, not the way you spoke to me.
Garand did finish the game and made it to the dessert round, but it's entirely possible that she was already out before Zakarian even tried her apple blackberry crumble, and she was chopped.